This is Decent for We the People News. So, we been hearing about passports this and passports that on because of the big V, right? And certain states have been accepting it, and certain states haven't. And what this pops up on, just so you guys know, all they do is talk about law and not using an attorney. So I'm on that Telegram to read through things, to study, and see what I can do about protecting myself by any means necessary. Alright, so, which brings into the collusion, right? I never look straight forward. I always look around me, for the outside forces may want to commit harm upon me. And I want to be able to protect myself by any means necessary, which is my liberty, to be able to safeguard my inalienable rights to keep and hold. I'm not an attorney, don't claim to be an attorney. I don't want to dumb myself down. I want to get smarter, not dumber. Alright? This video is just a learning video, so take it as you wish. Now, this being said, I've seen a couple of little deals here and there by this guy, right? And he does bring up court cases I've seen up in the past. I don't have fancy stuff, especially back in the day when I was doing all this research. I had computers, read it, wrote it down. Half of it got moved, lost, and other stuff got wet and all that during the moving. So a lot of things I end up don't have anymore. But he's also a little bit more clear spoken and more blunt than I am. So take his little bluntness as, well, being blunt. Alright? So this kind of goes into what is a passport. And it don't go into direct definition of passports. It just gets the basics to give you an idea. Here we go.
That's the only place I've seen it. Everywhere else, you see United States of America, like in your passport, on Silver Eagles, even on Air Force One. It's got United States of America. Excuse me. A passport is a written document given to a person or persons by a commander of belligerent forces, authorizing him or them to travel unmolested within the district occupied by his troops. Passports are issued by the State Department or a similar office in other countries to diplomatic agents and others entering or traveling in foreign countries which are the same general character as those issued during war. The latter should, when practicable, have a photograph of the bearer attached. And that's taken from the Rules of Land Warfare, 1914 edition, Passports, Safe Conduct, Safeguards, and Cartels. Chapter 7, Section 4, Article 276, page 100. The only place I've seen the United States is on the Federal Reserve notes. In this case, it's silver certificates. At common law, only gold and silver were legal tender. If you want common law, it requires...
Okay, so the passport, what it basically was saying, that we are all states or territories, alright? And they are using basically martial law, creating foreign states for the big V, so you can get a passport to travel from one state to another state. Now, my previous videos a long time ago that you guys may not see or heard, under the 14th Amendment, well, I can't even say the 14th Amendment. 14th Amendment put us in slavery, but it's not even a legally ratified 14th Amendment. Alright? And hopefully this guy has it on there somewhere so he can define it a little bit better than I can. But basically, Lincoln never signed it off and ended the war, and no other president has done that either. So therefore, it still exists. We're under martial law in all states or territories.
Honest measures. We got to stretch the necks of these bar member scum and eliminate this plague that we have in our country. There is a distinction between a debt discharged and one paid. When discharged, the debt exists, though divested of its character as a legal obligation during the operation of the discharge. That's what these bar member scum have done. Discharge falls under the law of nations, under the international law. They lay awake at night with this stuff. That's what these bar member scum have done. If you're using Federal Reserve notes, you're not paying anything. That's why my Form 1020 works. And if you want to know about the Form 1020, there's a couple videos up. I'd suggest you watch them. All the Form 1020 form does is say, how do you want me to pay it? And they will never tell you. Because they're bar member scum. Copies of these documents can be found on my website and linked under my recent videos. For a complete set of YouTube videos with private information, shares a DVD with over 50 searchable law dictionaries and other books and forms, contact me privately at engineerwin@yahoo.com. Donations to support this work are appreciated. I prefer gold or silver coin, but as an extremely less desirable alternative, I can accept the IOUs, the fake money, the military script, the Federal Reserve notes, the PayPal gift checks, money orders. Send me an email for particulars. Section 15 of the Gold Reserve Act of 1934, located at 48 Stat 337, says, as used in this act, the term United States means the government of the United States, and the term currency of the United States means currency which is legal tender in the United States and includes United States notes and Federal Reserve notes, which means that Federal Reserve notes are meant for internal use of the government only. Federal Reserve notes,
which means the only way that this money that we use can be used by federal government. So, since we are their slaves, and since the 14th Amendment has put us in their slaves, and since we have military tribunal, now, this is my opinion, y'all, and I haven't researched it enough, okay? When you're 18 years old, especially guys, alright, you had to register so you can be called out for war, right? But once you register, you became a soldier on standby. Okay? Sit and think about that and ponder that for a minute. Once you registered to become a soldier, you actually became one, because we are under martial law. And that if it gets out of control, they're to call you and send you off somewhere. Sit and think about it, y'all. Alrighty.
are international law. Federal Reserve notes are commercial paper. Federal Reserve notes are a forced loan. Federal Reserve notes are IOUs. All commercial paper falls into two categories. It's a promissory note or it's an IOU. And so a requirement of a promissory note is a promise to pay. Gold certificates and silver certificates were promissory notes. You can never pay a debt with a Federal Reserve note. Other videos. Check out my other videos. Bankster Thieves playlist, Roman Cult playlist, Bankrupt Corporate So-Called Governments.
But we'll pause it there for right now. The main thing on this video was the simple fact, and I haven't got this far into it, so I really don't know how much it goes into it. You could gotta read this and get in touch with the guy and all that kind of stuff. Okay. So in essence, they're using passports which to go to foreign countries. But since we're all territories in the United States, then we're all foreign. Which again, that's what states are, right? By the words of England, state means other countries. Okay? French was considered a state. Okay? but it was its own separate country. Alright? Germany was a state to England because of a treaty. But I dare you to go to Germany and tell them, nah, you belong to England. They get really mad at you. You probably find yourself beat up in an alley somewhere. Alright? Yeah. No. Okay. So don't do that if you guys ever go to Germany. Alright? This is Diesel for We the People News. I thought I'd just bring this up to y'all's attention a little bit. Alrighty. Until next time, we shall see you later. Always, always, always look around you. Never straight forward, so that way you can see what the cause and effect of the outside forces are trying to do to you. If you're only one-sided, then you can only see one side. But if you always make a complete circle, then you can always see around you and see what the cause and effect is going to happen upon you. Diesel We the People News. Bye, y'all.